A very good afternoon and welcome to Eastwood Community Football Club for this FA Women's Northern Division game between Nottingham Forest Ladies and Sunderland Ladies, and we're changing ends in this first half. Quickly run through the two teams for you, starting first with Sunderland. They have Cowling in goal, Kemp, Griffiths, Ramshaw, Lambert, Galloway, Barker, McCarthy, McCaughlin, Farragia and Potts as their starting 11, with Stewart, Gibson, Young, Hutchinson and Warren on the bench. Nottingham Forest Ladies have Hallam in goal, Walters, Wilson, Constantinu, Middleton, Tyson, Hewitt, Bennett, Higginbotham, Edwards and Brown as the starting 11, with Davis, Reek, Sanderson, Sullivan and Lancashire on the bench. And we are just about ready to get started here. It'll be Sunderland in there, all light blue. The ball won't even stay still in the rain here so far. We've had a hailstorm just about 10 minutes before kick-off, and the ball won't stay still because of the wind. But we are just about ready to get this one started, and we are underway with Sunderland playing in all light blue, going away from me in this first half from left to right, and immediately they attack down that right-hand side. But Bennett gets a strong right foot in and clears it out for a throw-in to Sunderland. Wind very heavy, going with Forest in the first half in their home strip of red shirts, white shorts and red socks, as Sunderland still have possession with McCarthy across the back line. Over onto this right hand side to Griffiths. Griffiths goes down the line up and over halfway, still attacking down that right hand side of Sunderland. Forest tracking back well and force play out onto the far right hand side. As play just halts for a moment, the wind causing difficulties straight away from the kick-off. The ball wouldn't stay still, but it is a throw-in to Forest, which goes square into the centre of the field. It's cleared up towards halfway. Strong foot in there from McCarthy again, plays it forward for Sunderland. It's now with Galloway in the centre of the Forest half, over onto the left-hand side. Lambert helps it on its way, but it doesn't stay in, and Forest will have the throw-in on the far-hand side, their right. As throw-in comes in up and over halfway, it goes straight out of play again. Middleton can't keep it in, but she has won the throw-in, and Forest will have another one on the right-hand side. This one's level with halfway as the rain starts to come down again here at Eastwood, just outside Nottingham. It's a third throw-in for Forest on the right-hand side. Real strong hailstorm we had about 10 minutes before kick-off. That passed quickly, but it looks as though wave 2 is arriving as the hail comes down again, and the play does continue for the moment. It's a very strong wind. The hail is almost horizontal, going from right to left as I look at it from my commentary position, although I have to feel a little bit smug being indoors at the moment. Here's Higginbotham for Forest, gets it taken away from her about 5 yards outside of the penalty area. The ball is played forward, it runs out of play for a Forest throw-in again on the right hand side, but back inside their own half. Throw-in taken long down the line, a very long throw-in helped by the wind, but it's intercepted by the visitors who have it on halfway, played square inside the middle to Ramshaw. Ramshaw goes all the way across to Griffiths as one of the training cones goes flying across from right to left as I look at it, and here comes Brown now on the left hand side for Forest. That's just going to run away from her in the wind as she plays it forward, and it's a Sunderland throw-in, but they're stuck inside the final third of that they're defending, and the wind is not going to help them with this throw in. The hail as well, they can barely even look the way they're shooting at the moment for the hail hitting them in the face. Here's Griffiths. Griffiths throws it forward to Barker, back to Griffiths, Griffiths to Lambert. It's definitely a game to be played on the floor here in this early stage, as here's Griffiths again. Griffiths gives it to Lambert. Lambert comes out of the D over onto the left hand side, playing it forward up towards halfway. Still the pressure comes, and now Higginbotham takes it away from them, and Forest can come again on the right hand side. Middleton's making a run down that right, and what was a quite soft pass just catches the wind and just runs all the way out for a throw into Sunderland. We've played 4 minutes of this one, as this is the hail is actually horizontal here, and that clearance has just been held up in the wind from Sunderland and has ended up going back the way it came. It is still forward and it's just outside the centre circle, which Forest bring it forward. And then a foul against Ashley Edwards in the centre of the Sunderland half. Forest will have a free kick. The wind here is so strong that Sunderland cleared the ball. It got up into the air, just held itself in the air, and then started going back the way it just came as Hewitt goes to collect the ball and gives it to, or attempts to give it to Bennett anyway, but the wind takes it way away from Bennett and she's forced to chase after it to go and collect. I would doubt this ball will actually stay still to allow Forest to take the free kick. It is doing just about. No, now it started to move. So Bennett just has to take the free kick, fire it in, and it's straight at Cowling in the Sunderland goal. First opportunity for Forest, and Cowling bowls it out over arm to Griffiths at right back, who brings it midway inside the Sunderland half, goes down the line, but it's intercepted by Hewitt. And it is out for a throw-in. It's a Sunderland throw-in. And in fact, no, the game has been suspended. The game has been suspended. Bear with me while I make an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please for this important announcement. Today's game has been temporarily suspended because of the severe weather conditions. We urge you to walk and please don't run, but walk and seek shelter immediately. If you do choose to return to your car in the car park, you will be able to return to the stadium when the game is resumed. So please take care around the stadium. This game has been temporarily suspended. So I are going to halt this commentary for the moment because the game has been suspended and I am going to have to keep making announcements. So we will be back if this game resumes in, when this game resumes. So stay tight and keep listening to Forest Ladies Live. We will be back shortly, all being well. Just a reminder, if you've just tuned in, that this game has been temporarily suspended due to the weather conditions. Please stay tuned in, and when we get back playing, if indeed we do get back playing here this afternoon, then commentary will resume. Thank you for your patience. And the teams are making their way back out onto the field. By my watch, that stopped at about 5 minutes. But because I had to quickly make announcements, then it may be slightly off that. But I'll go by my watch of about 5 minutes. It is still 0-0 here as the two teams come out for the... I was about to say for the start of the second half then, but for the first half. As Sunderland just go through warm-ups again. Forest go back into their huddle, so it is 0-0. As the sun now comes out, this is the thing, we now have sunshine out and bright blue skies here at Eastwood. Just the hail was horizontal at the time and there was no way that play could have continued. But we are going to carry on again now with the ball on the right hand side. The Sunderland throw in that goes down the line, so we are back playing again here. Just outside Nottingham, they're in the centre of the Forest half, well taken away from them. And Forest come up and over halfway on this near hand side, their left. Brown though can't keep it in, it'll be another Sunderland throw in. As Griffiths goes back to McCarty, and McCarty goes back to Cowling inside the Sunderland penalty area. Ball comes out on the left hand side to Barker. Barker just plays a 1-2 with Ramshaw. Sunderland on the far left up towards halfway. Middleton steps up but it gets past her. Can't keep it in though, can the visitors, and it will be a Forest throw in just inside their own half on the right. It's thrown in towards Higginbotham. It goes back to Wilson, who plays a long ball down. I mean, the rain has stopped, but the heavy wind from right to left, the way that Forest are shooting in this first half, is still there, and that pass was never going to be caught by Middleton, and it ran all the way through to the goalkeeper Alison Cowley in the Sunderland goal, who gets it back now from McCarty. Goes over to the left hand side. Sunderland happy to work it out from the back. Here's Lambert just outside her own D in the centre of the field. Comes out onto the right hand side to Griffiths. Griffiths left footed ball forward, goes into the Forest half. It's there now with Barker. Barker goes back to Griffiths. It's just taken away from her though, as the wind causing havoc for Sunderland as well. And then it's a complete miscue from Walters, and it just goes out for a throw in to Sunderland on this right hand side in front of their own dugout. We've now played about 7 minutes of this one. It's going to be Griffiths with the throw in down the line towards the corner of the penalty area, but it's gone out of play again. It's another Sunderland throw in. Forest forced to defend here, as the throw in is about level with the edge of the penalty area. On the right hand side, this near side to me as it goes into the penalty area, but it's been well cleared away by Helena Constantinou up to halfway, where it is collected by Potts. Potts goes over to the left hand side, lays it off to a teammate. Sunderland's front suddenly back into the Forest half again, level with the edge of the penalty area on the left hand side. Opportunity for a cross, but it just runs out of play. And it is nothing more than a goal kick. Sunderland thought it was a corner, but it is just a goal kick. Emily Hallam's first touch of the game. So a very good afternoon to all of you listening on Forest Ladies Live on YouTube. Let us know where you're listening from this afternoon and who you are supporting. For those who haven't made the trip down from Sunderland, right-footed clearance by Hallam, goes up towards halfway, doesn't quite reach it though. It's headed by McCaughlin, and it's out for a Sunderland throw-in on the left-hand side after it takes a ricochet off a Forest midfielder. And Sunderland will have the throw-in about 10 yards inside the Forest half on the left. It goes infield. It's with Galloway. Galloway can't make it though past Wilson, and it's out for another Sunderland throw-in on that far-hand side. Still 0-0 here with just under 10 minutes played. If you've just tuned in, play was suspended for about 10 minutes for a horrendous hailstorm that we had, but play has resumed now. We've got bright blue sunshine as McCarty takes it away from Higginbotham, and Sunderland can attack once again down the right hand side, level with the edge of the Forest penalty area. An opportunity for a cross to come in, but Forest do well at that far left corner to just kind of hold them up and force the throw in. Thrown in towards the edge of the penalty area. The cross comes in, headed away. Only as far as the edge of the penalty area though. Forest get away at the second attempt. Again only towards the edge of the penalty area. Higginbotham then does well to get a foot in. It does clear it to the midway point of the Forest half. Middleton back as well, tracking back and gets a strong right foot sliding challenge in to force nothing more than a throw in to Sunderland, which they take quickly and play it square over to this right hand side to Griffiths. Griffiths plays it down the line. It's down the line to Barker. Barker at the corner of the Forest penalty area. The cross is blocked and it is a corner for the visitors, their first of the game. Plenty in the penalty area. 8 in the penalty area for Sunderland. So everybody for Forest back. The furthest forward player for Forest is only on the edge of the 18-yard box. So defending heavily here as the header comes in. Great save from Hallam to deflect it over for another corner. It was a header from point blank range. Hallam did well to jump, make herself big. And Sunderland will have another corner, this time from the other side, to be taken by Grace McCarthy. Even the corner flag on that far hand side has fallen over. McCarthy just rights it again and then places the ball down. In fact, she has to move the corner flag out of the way. This is going to be a right-footed in-swinging corner. She goes towards the near post. There's a free header out in front. Forest needs to get this away quickly. It's bobbling out in the air. Cleared off the post. Cleared off the line by Forest at the near post. Beth Tyson, I believe, from that far end on the right-hand post, gets it cleared off the line and up to halfway. And Forest have survived that one for now, and Sunderland have got to come again. They're inside their own half. It's with Griffiths, the centre-back, and midway inside her own half. Runs now over onto the right-hand side, plays it forward up towards halfway to Ramshaw. Ramshaw, though, just has it taken away from her, and Forest can come again with Brown. Brown loses out under the challenge, though, but then does well to pressurise Griffiths, and Griffiths has to go back to Cowling in all black this afternoon. And now here's Ramshaw after Cowling gets it clear. Forest win it back inside the centre circle. Is Middleton after getting the 1-2 pass from Constantinu. Middleton still going with it, but it's been forced wide. Still Middleton about 10 yards from the byline. She just checks her stride. Can't, though, get it away from Potts, and it is a Forest throw-in. Inside the final 18 yards of the Sunderland half. It's on the far right-hand side. And this is another opportunity for Forest as Walters goes across to take the long throw-in. Thinks about taking it, instead goes shorter to Middleton. Middleton gets a bit of a lucky bounce, and Forest still have it towards the edge of the Sunderland penalty area. Now it's been taken away from them though, and Sunderland have an opportunity to break here, and here's Barker. Barker streaking through the centre circle, and she's got support on the right hand side in the form of Griffiths. Griffiths does get there. Does she manage to keep it in? No, she doesn't, and it's a Forest throw-in. Good in terms of a Forest point of view that ran out, because Sunderland had plenty of players forward, and Forest were caught ever so slightly on the break there. But we've played 12.5 minutes of this first half, and it is still 0-0. Forest have possession inside their own half. In fact, they lose it though, as Higginbotham is dispossessed by Lambert, and Sunderland attack this time down the left hand side. Middleton again tracking back well. Good help there from Constantinu as well to get the ball out of play and force nothing more than a Sunderland throw-in. It has been all of the visitors in the first half, if we're honest. Back to halfway, long ball square over to Griffiths on this near hand side again. She just has to run forward to collect and gets it inside the centre circle. Goes over to Barker on the right hand side once more. Barker just cuts inside and then plays a overlap pass down that right hand side. Forest eventually get it clear, but only as far as Griffiths at the corner of the penalty area. Good left foot swing at it from Constantinu, gets something of the ball and clears it out for a Sunderland throw-in. It's on the right hand side inside the Forest half though, about midway inside the Forest half. Thrown in square, and good turn away there. That was Ramshaw away from Ashley Edwards played into the centre of the field, 25 yards out. Sunderland forced back ever so slightly, back over onto this right hand side. Free in the penalty area in a light blue shirt looking for the cross. They're forced right into the corner. The cross does come in, but it's been stopped at the edge of the penalty area by Walters, who gets a boot to it and clears it away to midway inside the Forest half. Griffiths collects again, but then it's taken away from her. Here's Tyson. Tyson battles for it strongly, and it's eventually taken away from her by McCarthy, who goes back to Cowling in the Sunderland goal. First time pass out to Barker. Barker goes over to Potts on the left hand side, who just comes up and over halfway. Forest sitting very deep here with nobody inside the Sunderland half at the moment. Here's McCarthy. McCarthy, ball forward, is looking for Lambert, but it's a strong foot in there from Higginbotham to just get that one away from Lambert. It's a throw in on the right hand side. As Higginbotham just disposes of her gloves that she had on for the first 15 minutes of this one. As we approach the quarter of an hour mark, it's still Forest 0, Sunderland 0. It is a throw-in to Forest on this near hand side there left, but they're in their own half. It's in front of the away dugout. It's headed clear again, and this time it's a Sunderland throw-in as it's deemed to come off a Forest head. So a quarter of an hour played, and it's still 0-0. Sunderland have it back inside their own half. It's McCarthy who goes square to Potts. Potts goes over to the left-hand side, and the ball now comes up and over halfway, again on the wing. Sunderland playing very wide in the early stages of this Women's National League Northern Division encounter as the season begins to get into its closing stages. The throw-in is taken quickly. They go back into their own half. Sunderland happy to keep possession here. Forest haven't had a lot of the ball, but they're sitting so deep that they're not coming to press. Here's an opportunity though as Edwards gets in to intercept the pass forward. And it goes forward towards Tyson, but Potts is just too strong for her and gets a body in the way and safely shields the ball all the way back to Cowling in the Sunderland goal. And here is Potts again, who plays a long ball forward, but it's intercepted by Hewitt, who plays the first time right-footed ball up and over the top again, looking for Tyson. It's Potts who gets back again first, gives it back to Cowling inside the 6-yard box. Tyson, the only Forest player pressuring at the moment, and Cowling just calmly plays it out to McCarthy on the right-hand side. Midway inside the Sunderland half, long ball forward up and over the top, and it's got over the head of Walters, but she manages to clear it up. No, she doesn't, because she completely swikes at it and misses, and Hewitt has to recover and play it back to Hallam, who clears it left-footed first time to Constantinu midway inside the Forest half. Over to Middleton on the right-hand side inside the centre circle. She squares it across over onto this left-hand side. It's behind Brown though. Brown recovers well and keeps possession for Forest. Here's Hewitt. Hewitt gives it to Constantinu, still inside the Forest half. Two pressuring Constantinu, and it goes out of play for a Sunderland throw-in in the end. About 17 and a half gone in this first half. Here's McCarthy. McCarthy gives it to Potts. Potts over onto the left once again. Sunderland favouring that left-hand side at the moment. It's with Edwards. Goes infield to Lambert. Lambert is brought down by the strong challenge of Higginbotham and wins the free kick, which they take quickly. It's over to the right hand side to Griffiths. Griffiths goes forward, and Sunderland have an opportunity here down the right hand side. They're flooding the box again. The space at the back post. The cross comes in. It is towards that back post. It's bobbling around out in front. Player goes down. Referee says no penalty. Still Forest can't get it away as the shot comes in, and it's tipped up and then caught at the second attempt by Hallam. Lambert with the shot from 20 yards. And we have played 18 minutes of this one. It is still Forest 0, Sunderland 0. Hallam clears it right-footed, up and over halfway, headed forward strongly by Potts, and it's collected by Barker inside the Forest half on the right-hand side. Barker's still with it. Two Forest players she's gone round now. Now that's the third player, and Grace Walters eventually comes across, clears the danger, if just for the moment. It's the Sunderland throw-in on the right-hand side. About midway inside Forest half with the away dugout right behind them. Still Probably the better of the two sides in this first half is in the corner. The cross comes in. It's headed away at the near post, that time by Bennett, and Higginbotham can't get a clean boot to it to clear it away. Sunderland have possession again, but then Higginbotham just force them back to the halfway line. Here's Potts. Potts over to the left-hand side and then gets the return pass back from teammate at left back, and they're back inside the Forest half again. This is with Niamh McGoughlin. McGoughlin just has it taken away from her. Here's an opportunity for Forest as here comes Constantinou inside the centre circle. Constantinou gives it to Edwards, ball forward. This is looking for Brown. It's just going to run away from her. The wind again not helping Forest in this first half. And Cowling does well to come out to the edge of a penalty area and just get there ahead of Brown and smother the loose ball and then bowl it out onto the right hand side. Sunderland again really favouring the wings here early on as they're coming again towards the edge of the Forest penalty area. A left footed shot is a tame one from Ramshaw as she was busy holding off Constantinou at the same time, and Hallam is easily able to gather that one as she dives down away to her right and makes a fairly comfortable save. Clears it right footed up and over halfway. Again Tyson the only player up, but it's headed backwards by Potts, and therefore Cowling is able to go and collect and pick the ball up. Instead she decides not to though as it runs out of the penalty area. So here's Cowling. Cowling gives it back to Potts at the left hand side of the defence. Potts runs forward and passes it up and over halfway. Forced back once more though. Sunderland again with all the possession. Long diagonal through ball. Is looking for Barker on that right hand side. And the cross comes in, but Hallam is easily able to claim that one at the near post under no pressure from anybody in a light blue shirt. Still Forest 0, Sunderland 0 then as we approach the midway point in this first half. If you have just joined us, play was suspended for roughly 10 minutes or so as we had a torrential hailstorm which started just after kick-off, and after about 5 minutes the referee decided to take the players off the field and play was suspended for about 10 minutes until it resumed. So we are about 10 minutes behind the rest of the league. As Cowling just gives it to Potts once again, forward into the centre circle to Ramshaw. Ramshaw ball forward, and here's Sunderland, an opportunity all alone. Right hand side, good save from Hallam. The rebound is still not claimed by Hallam, it's still bobbling around. It was a terrific one-on-one save to deny Galloway. Hallam did well to make herself big and got something of her body on the ball. And it's only the miracles of Hallam there making 2 or 3 saves in quick succession that's keeping this one at 0-0. And it's Sunderland who have the throw in towards the corner flag. The cross comes in and it hits the side netting, but it's deflection as the cross comes in. It will be another corner for the visitors. Their third of the game. Forest yet to have one. But again, Forest with absolutely everybody back defending this one. Sunderland with 7 players inside the box and another one on the edge of the D. We are at the midway point of this first half now. The cross comes in towards the back post and it's headed up and up. It's still bobbling around inside the penalty area. Forest eventually get it cleared away. And out for a throw-in on the right-hand side. Sunderland dangerous from set pieces. It's thrown in again towards the corner of the penalty area. Still at the edge of the penalty area. That's with Griffiths. Griffiths, it's taken away from her and the shot comes in from Potts at the edge of the area. Sunderland committing bodies forward as they had the corner a few moments before, but that goes wide of Hallam's left-hand post, who now stops to retie her laces. You're listening to Forest Ladies live on YouTube. Let us know where you're listening from this afternoon and who you are supporting as the sun continues to beam down here at Eastwood following the earlier hail shower. We've gone past the midway point in this first half. It is still 0-0 here between Forest and Sunderland. As Hallam takes this goal kick right-footed, it's flicked on by Walters, but then intercepted by Ramshaw. And now here come Sunderland again on the left-hand side. Shot is wide from Niamh McGoughlin. It has been all the visitors so far in this one. Forest, you could say, could be a little bit fortunate to be still at 0-0 at this stage, but we have played now about 24 minutes, just about 20 first half minutes remain. Forest, of course, will have the wind against them in the second half, so they want to try and capitalise if they can on this extra advantage that they've got in the first half. But here come Sunderland again over onto the right hand side. Hewitt does well to get her body in the way and partially block the pass through and at least halt Sunderland momentarily, but it is out now for a throw in on the right hand side. It is a Forest throw in though. It is taken by Hewitt down the line looking for Tyson, but it's over Tyson's head. Now here's McCarthy. Tyson, the only player pressuring the Sunderland back three at the moment. McCarthy gives it to Potts and gets it back. Right footed pass then forwards. Forward to Lambert, back to Potts. Potts has space on the left hand side to run into. Comes up and over halfway and plays the ball forward. Forest get a strong foot in, managed to win the ball back. Here's Higginbotham. Higginbotham gives it to Edwards. Edwards on halfway, plays the ball forward, looking for Tyson, but again the wind helping the pass ball through, and Tyson wasn't going to get there as it runs all the way through to Cowling. Cowling then bowls it out to Lambert. Lambert with Higginbotham for company, but does manage to get the ball forward looking for Ramshaw, but it's out of play, and it's a Forest throw-in midway inside their own half, which will be taken by Francesca Wilson. Walking forward along the touchline as much as she can and then throws it towards the halfway line. Sunderland though immediately win possession back. Constantinu battles for it inside the centre circle. It's now with Edwards. Edwards to Higginbotham. Higginbotham still battles for it on halfway. Gives it back to Hewitt. Hewitt controls. Delivers a lofted through ball, which again is going to run all the way through to Cowling. These long through balls may well work in the second half for Forest, but they're not going to in this first half with the wind as strong as it is, unless Tyson is at full sprint before the ball is played. As McCarthy gives it to Potts on the left hand side. Plenty of play going through the same players for Sunderland. They've clearly got the game plan set in stone, as here's Lambert. Lambert gives it to Griffiths. Griffiths gets it away from Brown. Now here's Barker. Barker still going for it, gives it back to Griffiths on the right hand side. Plenty in the penalty area for Sunderland again. Cross comes in towards the edge of the area. It's back with Griffiths. Griffiths takes the shot and it's just wide. Another great opportunity for the visitors after 26.5 minutes. But Forest again survive. And it remains 0-0. Craig has asked, has the new manager made any noticeable changes? There's been quite a few changes by the new manager, Craig. We've got new players in. Beth Tyson's into the starting 11. Jordan Reek and Maisie Lancashire are on the bench this evening, alongside Philippa Davis, the substitute goalkeeper. But the formation seems relatively the same. Forest are playing quite deep this afternoon, but that's natural against a team of Sunderland's calibre, quite high in the Northern Division table. So here they come again, up and over halfway, long ball forward. That is going to run all the way through to Hallam though, and it's well out of the reach of Barker. So Hallam controls in a two hands. Bounces the ball twice towards the edge of the area and then clears it right footed. It's high up into the air, which will help Forest in this first half. It lands just pretty much on halfway. Edwards is unlucky though not to get enough on it to keep possession for the home side, and Sunderland have it back again on halfway on the far right hand side. Play comes back to McCarthy and goes back to Cowling inside the penalty area, pretty much on the penalty spot in her all black kit this afternoon. Alison Cowling, she goes over to the left hand side. Sunderland just inside their own half, but happy to just play this ball around Forest, as here's Lambert inside the centre circle. Over to Griffiths once more. Griffiths though loses out to Brown, and Brown's got Tyson ahead of her. Pass isn't good enough though, intercepted by McCarthy. McCarthy goes back to Griffiths on halfway on Sunderland's right hand side in front of the dugouts and the technical areas here at Eastwood Community Football Club. Here's Barker. Barker plays it inside, looking for Maria Faragula, but it's taken away from her. She can't control it the way she would have liked. Here's Potts once more. Middleton trying to put pressure on the pass, but Potts is having none of it and plays a long right ball forward, looking for the head of Galloway. Still Sunderland spending a lot of time in the Forest third. It's Middleton for Forest though, with her back to where she wants to go. It's out for a Sunderland throw-in as Middleton's just muscled off the ball and makes the error in the process. Here comes Sunderland again. The shot from 25 yards is well high and wide of Hallam's top left corner. We've played about half an hour here. If you have just tuned in, play was suspended for about 10 minutes due to a horrendous hailstorm about 5 minutes in. As Hallam is preparing to take this goal kick right-footed. Doesn't quite reach halfway. Bennett gets up strongly, wins possession for Forest. Walters just swings and slices a foot at it, and it's out of play for a Sunderland throw-in as the ball ends up in the Forest dugout. Throw-in taken by Griffiths. She goes infield. It's to Ramshaw. It's taken away from her and played forward. Here's Tyson. First opportunity for her to have a real run at the opposition, but it's taken away from her as she can't get the ball to settle the way she would have liked. It's out for a Forest throw-in just inside their own half on the left-hand side as the Reds look at it. They're going from right to left in this first half towards me at the Community Football Club here at Eastwood. My commentary position almost level with the edge of one of the technical areas. Sorry, the penalty areas. As here comes Kemp. Kemp plays it over onto the left-hand side. It's back to Potts just inside the Sunderland half. Long ball forward into the centre of the Forest half, just isn't controlled and is cleared away by Constantinu up to halfway again. Middleton battles for it and Middleton wins it, and Middleton gets away from a marker, and here's a good opportunity for Forest, who have got players over. Middleton though just tries to do too much with it, wants the free kick, and the referee says nothing doing, and the ball now comes back with the visitors on the right hand side. Here's Barker still with it, plays it over towards Ramshaw on the right, and again Sunderland have got two in the box. It's played towards the penalty spot. Sunderland have it in the penalty area. Sunderland want a free kick, and it's gone out for a goal kick, but it was deemed to have been deflected by the referee. My apologies, and it is Sunderland's fourth corner of the first half as the sun disappears behind a cloud again, which is rather helpful for me in this commentary box as the ball comes in from the corner towards the back post. Forest have to get this clear with the sun blazing down. This room really is a bit like a greenhouse, and Sunderland's white numbers on sky blue shirts are not the easiest to read in the sun. Here's Faragua, gives it centre to Potts. Potts 25 yards out. He's thinking about the shot here. Instead tried the through ball, which Walters did well to get a foot to. And now here's Tyson. Tyson trying to win the race here against Cowling. Cowling's come out of a penalty area. Kemp was just unaware of how quick Tyson would be. Tyson got past Kemp, but Cowling just got there ahead of her. The ball is again out now for a Forest throw-in on the right-hand side as they look at it. Wilson to take the throw-in down the line, up and over halfway. Middleton not high enough to get ahead to it, but that does mean that it's out for another Forest throw on the right-hand side. This one level with halfway as we're nearing the final 13 minutes or so of this first half, plus any stoppages, of course, which there haven't really been any, to be honest. No injuries, no bookings or goals so far, as they're completely swung at by Potts, and she completely miskicks it, and it's out for Forest's first corner. It goes completely the opposite direction to the way she would have liked, and Forest will have their first corner of the game. Comes 33 minutes in. Should just point out for everybody listening as well that I do the stadium announcements here, so if something does happen such as a goal, I will have to dive away momentarily, but Edwards is going to take this corner, and it's going to be right-footed, out swinging. It's looking towards Tyson. It's still in and around the penalty area. Forest with an opportunity. Constantinu delivers it back in. Middleton looking for it. It's cleared but hangs up in the air. Flicked backwards by Sunderland. It's still inside their own half though. And then Constantinu wins the free kick. And Forest will have a free kick midway inside the Sunderland half on the left, and that's an ominous black cloud that's coming up and over the Eastwood Community Football Club here just outside Nottingham. Get that Forest next in action at home in the big East Midlands derby as Bennett delivers it right-footed. That's going way too close to Cowling and it's high and wide. And that free kick comes to nothing. 2 weeks' time back here, so that'll be the next Forest Ladies live commentary. It's Nottingham Forest against Derby County, where Forest will be looking to avenge the 1-0 defeat they had at Pride Park earlier in the season. As Cowling just has to retake the goal kick for a rolling ball. She plays it short to Lambert. Lambert, right-footed, goes towards halfway. Visitors still with the ball. Here's Barker. Barker on a right foot, comes in field, gives it over to Galloway, who goes over to the right-hand side looking for Fariglia, and it comes in towards the penalty area, and Hallam gambled, and it paid off for her as Galloway slid in, but she didn't get enough on it. And Hallam was able to make the save as we've got 10 minutes of this first half of normal time anyway to play, as Hallam glaze it right-footed. It's over Tyson's head, and then it's over the head of Griffiths at right back. It runs all the way out actually for a Sunderland throw-in. Pegged back inside their own third. Griffiths plays it up to Lambert. Lambert square. Here's Potts. Potts right-footed, goes over to Kemp on that left-hand side. Back to Potts. Sunderland, as I've been saying all game, happy to pass it around their own half for the moment. Here's Lambert. Lambert, ball forward. Ball forward is just checked in a stride by Faraglia. Back to Lambert. Galloway. Galloway just has it taken away from him by Edwards, but now here's Faraglia, who just plays the shot, and it bounces 3 times tamely, and is well caught by Emily Hallam. After Rebecca Thomas has left the club in the week, Hallam gets the start today, as here's Constantinu. Constantinu heads it forward. Brown can't get there though. Hewitt tries a second attempt after it was headed forward by the visitors. Now here's Griffiths. Tyson battling Griffiths hard. Back to McCarthy, who goes back to Cowling. 9 first half minutes to go. Here's Potts. Potts square to this near hand side to Griffiths. As the wind picks up once more, Griffiths just plays it too far away from her. Brown, though, is hurting the challenge as it's a 50-50 ball which Griffiths wins. Play continues. Brown back to her feet. Sunderland on the right-hand side. Opportunity for a cross. Hewitt battles hard, though. Concedes the throw-in, but halts the Sunderland attack, at least for now. As they play the ball in square. Forest managed to get it clear only as far as the centre circle. Here's McGoughlin. Over to Potts on halfway left hand side. Ball played forward. That's to Ramshaw. Ramshaw to Kemp on the left hand side. Kemp gets past Middleton, gives it back to Ramshaw, and Ramshaw gets past her marker as well, but then Bennett gets a strong right foot into it, and it's cleared all the way down the pitch. Is it going to be a throw-in or a goal kick? It is a throw-in. If that was a rugby clearance, that would be a brilliant touch finder from Bennett. It's forced Sunderland all the way back into their own third. So we have just 7.5 to go in this first half. As here's Lambert for Sunderland again, midway inside their own half. Played over onto this right-hand side to Griffiths. Griffiths, right-footed, plays it infield. Here's Constantinu. Constantinu gets a 1-2 and gets the ball back, but then loses out under the challenge of Griffiths. Constantinu hasn't given up though, but Griffiths gets it away from her and plays it to Lambert. Lambert into the centre of the field. Now here's McGoughlin. McGoughlin goes back to McCarthy. McCarthy on a right foot, up and over halfway. Middleton almost gets the interception, concedes the throw-in at the point as well. We do now have just 7 minutes to go of this first half. Still Forest 0, Sunderland 0. As Sunderland have it inside the Forest half. Shot comes in, saved by Hallam, and it's just deflected wide of the post. Great save from Hallam to keep it, and how Sunderland have not scored there. It was a clear shot from the edge of the area and a good save by Hallam. who has very much kept Forest in this so far and made a couple of terrific saves. And it does remain 0-0 with just 6.5 first half minutes to play of normal time. This is Forest Ladies live on YouTube. Let us know in the live chat where you're listening from and who you are supporting on this Sunday afternoon. A couple of games fell foul of the weather this morning, but being on a 3G pitch, this one has stayed on as Hewitt just takes it away from Faraglia at the edge of the Forest area. Sunderland still have it in the Forest half. Goes back to halfway though to McCarthy. Tyson putting pressure on McCarthy, but she does manage to get it to Potts. Potts right-footed, plays it over to Griffiths on this near-hand side, the Sunderland right. Ball forward, up and over halfway. It's out for a throw-in, which Sunderland take but immediately lose. This is a good header from Constantinu, and then Higginbotham is fouled in the process of trying to win the ball, and it will be a Forest free kick. They're in their own half, but with just about 5 first half minutes to play, they'll be pretty pleased going in at 0-0 here. If indeed that is what happens, if it remains scoreless in the final 5 minutes or so of this first half. If you have just joined us, again, we were delayed here. We were suspended. The game was suspended about 5 minutes in, thanks to a hailstorm. So because I had to make quick announcements, I didn't manage to stop my watch at exactly the right time, but I believe it was about 5 minutes in. Here's Barker weaving in and out the Forest midfield inside the centre of the Forest half. She goes down, advantage is played. Here's Ramshaw over onto the left hand side. Galloway can't control it the way she would have wanted. It allows Wilson to get back and cover and forces them all the way back to Potts midway inside the Forest half. Potts right diagonal ball forward. The header is played forward and up, and oh, it's a goal for Sunderland by Niamh McLaughlin in the 41st minute. The leading goal has been made, and I have to make an announcement. Goal for Sunderland in the 41st minute, scored by number 22, Niamh McLaughlin. First goal of the game then, and it comes from Niamh McLaughlin in the 41st minute. It was a looping header up and over the top of Hallam, who I think got caught out by it in the wind, because I think it looked as though it was going way over the bar, and then it just sat in the wind and dipped under the crossbar, and Sunderland do have the lead. A very good afternoon to Darren Middleton, who's listening from Spain. Very nice too. I suspect the weather might be nicer there than it is here, Darren. But if you have just tuned in, Sunderland have just taken the lead. It's now 1-0, and Niamh McLaughlin goal just a moment ago, giving the visitors the lead here. As here come Forest inside the Sunderland half. It's with Tyson. Tyson just tries to do a little bit too much to it, and it's taken away from her. Here's Ramshaw. Ball forward again, looking for Galloway, and Hallam gets out strongly but doesn't catch it inside the penalty area, and Sunderland still retain possession, but it's taken away from them. Forest regain it back, then Sunderland regain it back towards the edge of the penalty area, 25 yards out. That's up, and that's a terrific goal. And it's McLaughlin again in the 43rd minute from 25 yards out. Just goes straight over the head of Hallam. Goal for Sunderland in the 43rd minute, scored by number 22, Niamh McLaughlin. And no sooner is it 1-0 than it's 2-0. 2 goals in 3 minutes. For Sunderland again from outside the area. And it just loops over Hallam, who was off her line. Ball is played forward from Forest. It's with Griffiths. Griffiths goes back to Cowling. Cowling, though, can't keep it in as a pass back to Griffiths goes out for a Forest throw-in, level with the edge of the penalty area. About 2 minutes of normal time to play here at the end of this first half. It's Hewitt to take the throw-in for Forest. Weighs up her options and then plays it to Higginbotham. Higginbotham goes towards the byline and wins a corner for Forest. comes off the leg of Griffiths. Forest will have their second corner of the afternoon as Edwards goes across to take this one. This is going to be a right-footed in-swinging corner with just a minute of normal time to go at the end of this first half. Forest have 2 in the air, 3 in the area now and 2 on the edge of the area. Wilson and Hewitt, the 2 players inside the centre circle as the ball is played in towards the near post. In fact, hits the near post. It almost curled in. Cowling had to be alert to that one, but it just hit the outside of the post and went behind, and it is a goal kick as we're inside the final 60 seconds of the first 45. Cowling plays it short to McCarthy at right back position, who goes square in field to Lambert. Lambert gets past Tyson, plays it through the centre of the field. Here's Galloway. Galloway just gets caught up in a challenge with Hewitt. It's found Barker though inside the penalty area. The cross comes in and Hallam does well to just dive on the loose ball, and she catches it comfortably in the end. We have now played the 45, so we are into added time at the end of this first half. And Hallam clears it right-footed up towards the Sunderland half. It bounces over the first pair of heads jumping for it, and Forest do have it with Tyson inside the Sunderland half. Here's Brown. It's flicked up into the air again. Sunderland just take it away from her. Here's Griffiths. Griffiths goes back to McCarthy. Tyson pressuring. McCarthy though plays a right-footed ball forward, and that is half-time. So at the end of the first half here, it is 2-0 to Sunderland. And we will be back at for the start of the second half in about 15 minutes' time. and welcome back to Eastwood Community Football Club for the second half of Nottingham Forest against Sunderland in the FA Women's National League Northern Division. At half time, it's Sunderland 2, Forest 0. 2 late goals in the first half by Niamh McGoughlin has given the visitors a 2-0 lead. As we just wait for them to come out of their huddle, we had another hailstorm in the half-time break, but that has thankfully passed, and we are about ready to get started in this second half. Scores elsewhere in the Northern Division to give you. It's Derby County 0, Bradford City 1, and Middlesbrough 1, Stoke City 0. Those are the only two games to have survived the weather here this afternoon. As Forest get ready to get us restarted then with Tyson. Listening to Forest Ladies live on YouTube for the second half. And we are underway here in the second half at Eastwood, and Forest immediately go back to Walters and now Wilson. Wilson sticks a foot out and gets away from one player, but now it's back with Sunderland again with Ramshaw. Ramshaw over onto the right hand side, ball played across, it's back to Ramshaw inside the centre circle, turns away from Higginbotham and then turns back, plays it over to Griffiths on the right hand side, up and over halfway, back inside the centre circle. The visitors still with possession. Here's McCarthy over onto the left hand side to McGoughlin, who's on a hat-trick here this afternoon. Ball in is hits the side netting and it's a goal kick. So Forest have their first goal kick of the second half. 4 corners to 2 Sunderland had in the first half. In their light blue strip with white numbers on the back. Forest in their red shirts, white shorts and red socks. As Sunderland have possession again straight from the goal kick with McGoughlin. McGoughlin plays it centre of the field to Lambert. Lambert over onto the right hand side to Griffiths. Goes down to Barker. Back to Griffiths again about 25 yards out. Back to Barker. Acres of space on the right hand side. Cross comes in. Blocked by the behind of Walters, and it falls to Edwards, who is able to bring the ball away. Plays it forward towards Higginbotham, who does a nice spin move to get away from Ferraglia, who goes down. I think she got caught a little bit in that challenge as it's out of play, and the referee just goes to check that Ferraglia is okay. Still Forest 0, Sunderland 2. Just started the second half. We're about 2 minutes into it. Thrown down the line by Hewitt and flicked on up and over halfway. It is the visitors who take possession. Here is Ferraglia, who plays the ball forward, but the wind again this time helping Forest as it runs comfortably all the way through to Emily Hallam in the Forest goal in all dark blue. Clears it right footed up towards the dugouts. It doesn't stay in play, and it's a Sunderland throw-in straight from the clearance, and they throw it infield, and it's with McGoughlin, who goes square to Lambert. Lambert ball over to Barker. Barker doesn't control it quite how she would have liked, but it's spun kindly, and it's with Ramshaw. Ramshaw takes the shot and it's into the stand behind Hallam's net. Still 2-0 here. Hallam just waits for a supporter to jog across, collect the ball and hand it to her. So it's a goal kick for Forest. Hallam on the left-hand corner of her 6-yard box as she looks at it and clears it. It's a low one and it's intercepted by Sunderland, but not cleanly. Forest still have it. It goes high up into the air inside the centre circle. Middleton has to allow it to bounce and then heads it up in the air, but backwards. She goes down in a heap, but she gets up and looks to be okay. Here's Edwards. Edwards has passed towards Wilson, is slightly wayward, and the visitors regain possession once more. Here's Potts. Potts goes over to Kemp on this left-hand side. Kemp gives it and gets a nice 1-2 from McGoughlin. Still Kemp now. Kemp getting away from Constantinu. Level with the edge of the Forest penalty area. The cross comes in, but it's along the ground and hits the side netting. Forest goal kick. As Hallam just waits for Edwards to tie her lace, put her shin pad back in and jog back to her position. So right footed this will be. Again from Hallam, this side on the right hand side of her 6-yard box, and it goes up towards halfway, one in the air by Sunderland, but then Higginbotham does well to win that one back, battling against 2 defenders at the moment, still with possession of the ball. Eventually it's taken away from her though by McGoughlin. It's now out with Griffiths. Griffiths goes inside to Faraglia, still with possession to Ramshaw, 30 yards out, takes the shot, it takes a deflection and it's only just wide. I think Hallam had it covered, but it took a deflection and looped high from its original trajectory, and Hallam was lucky to see that one go wide. Thank you to Craig, who says that Derby have just got a goal back against Bradford City. Stephanie Smith with the goal. It's 1-1 there. That will help Forest as the corner comes in. It goes across the 6-yard box. It's over the head of everybody, but Sunderland still have it inside the Forest penalty area towards the corner of the 6-yard box. Turning this way, and that is Ramshaw. Her pass is intercepted by Edwards on the edge of the box though. Forest tried to break, but it's too far away from Higginbotham, and Lambert gets a foot in. Forest trying to find a way back into this game. You feel they need to get a goal quickly if they are going to find a way back into this game. We've played 5.5 minutes of this second half. As the ball is in the centre of the Forest half, Sunderland go back into the centre circle. It's with Kemp on halfway left hand side. Goes to McGoughlin. McGoughlin just tries to get it past Wilson. Wilson does enough to block her and allow Bennett to get a right-footed clearance up towards halfway. Here's Ramshaw again, 25 yards out as Sunderland get the ball in. That takes another deflection, and that one is a corner to Sunderland. Their second of the second half. And it's Faragir to go across to take it. Forest again have everybody back. This is going to be right-footed out swinging. Plenty in the box in a sky blue shirt. Again, it goes towards the 6-yard box. I think the wind has a helping hand here for Sunderland to get these balls in. Forest claim offside, and the offside flag does go up as Hallam scrambles it clear as the possession continues to go all Sunderland's way. 7 minutes gone in the second half. Still 2-0 to the visitors Sunderland. Hallam takes the free kick. Won by Sunderland once again. Bennett asking for a handball. Referee says nothing doing, and Walters gets it away. Let's find Higginbotham, who can't get a clear pass forwards. Here's Edwards. Edwards with a back to the way she wants to go. Won back by Sunderland. It's now with McGoughlin. McGoughlin plays it infield. Walters gets a left-footed boot in there and takes it away from her. Sunderland though back at again straight away. The clearances only go up to halfway. And Forest are sitting very deep, allowing the pressure from Sunderland. To be fair to Forest, they've done well at keeping Sunderland out of their penalty area and creating any real chances. The 2 goals that have come have both looped high over Hallam and have held up in the wind to dip under the bar. She was unlucky with both of them. Here's Potts again. Potts manages to find Farah Kluger as she has her back to goal, goes back to Lambert, back to Potts, centre of the field, over onto the right hand side to Barker. Barker plays it to Ramshaw. Ramshaw turns onto her left. Opportunity here for Sunderland inside towards the edge of the penalty area. Forest eventually though again get it clear, and it's cleared all the way down the field. Tyson isn't going to get there though, as it's going to be comfortably delivered back to Cowling inside the Sunderland penalty area. Goes to Kemp at the left back position. Kemp finds McGoughlin. Back to Potts. Infield to Lambert. Lambert taking it away from Higginbotham. Plays it forward. Lovely through ball now into the edge of the penalty area. Here's a good opportunity for Galloway. It takes a deflection. It's another corner for Sunderland. Right hand side. Farragia to come across to take it again. Again, Forest have everybody back. The furthest forward player at the moment is Sarah Brown, and she's currently on the penalty spot. Forest have one on each post, one in the 6-yard box as the cross comes in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and it goes through everybody, and it's tried to be deflected back goalwards by Lambert. She doesn't get the direction she wants on it, and it goes out for a goal kick. We've played 10 minutes of this second half, and Forest still trail by 2-0 in the 41st and the 43rd minute by Niamh McGoughlin. The difference in this game so far is the goal kick only reaches midway inside the Forest half. The wind really working for Sunderland here, and they've got a player over on this near hand side. That's McGoughlin again, looking for a hat-trick. She's in the D, takes the shot and just over the bar. Hallam didn't get anything on it. It only needed to dip another foot or so, and McGoughlin would have had her hat-trick, but as it stands it remains 2-0. As Hallam sees it just go only an inch or two over the bar, but it will be nothing more than a Forest goal kick. Players gathering on the left hand side of the field as Forest look at it. Right foot clearance from Hallam almost reaches halfway. It's found Hewitt. Hewitt helps it on its way, and Tyson is pressuring the back line of McCarthy and Potts there for Sunderland, but they deal with the pressure well. And now here's Kemp. Kemp gives it back to Potts on halfway. Forward to Farragia. Potts gives it to Ramshaw. Ramshaw does really well to turn away from Edwards, and a through ball forward towards Galloway, and it's a really good sliding challenge by Hewitt to take it away from Galloway. And then Constantinu does well to win it off Farragia, but the loose ball falls kindly to Sunderland, and they have a throw in midway inside the Forest half on the left hand side, which goes backwards back to Kemp and goes back to Potts on halfway. Sunderland happy to pass this one around as they were in the first half. Here's Ramshaw. Ramshaw with a shot from 25 yards is comfortably saved by Hallam, who just has to dive on the loose ball as it's straight at her, and she's able to walk to the edge of the penalty area with ball in hand and completely scuffs the clearance, it has to be said, and it does manage to find Hewitt, and Forest have the free kick as Hewitt is fouled in the process of trying to turn away from her marker. Walters will take the free kick from midway inside the Forest half. It's going to be a right-footed free kick that will go up and over halfway. It goes to Middleton. Middleton flicks it on towards Higginbotham. Higginbotham does well to get away from her marker on the left-hand side towards the edge of the penalty area, but Sunderland defence in the end are just too strong. Lambert got back well to track and were able to shepherd the ball out for nothing more than a goal kick. We've played 12.5 minutes of this second half. We're approaching the hour mark. Still 2-0 to the visitors, who have shown why they're near the top of the table. This here's Kemp for Sunderland. Plays it forward towards halfway. Here's Lambert, goes up and over the centre circle. Ball forward looking for Galloway. Galloway manages to control it, but then fouls Shana Bennett, as Bennett does well to get a body in between Galloway and the ball. And Forest will have another free kick inside their own half, midway inside their own half, just right of centre as Forest look at it. And it's played up and over halfway, controlled on halfway by Higginbotham, and Forest concede possession in the form of a Sunderland throw-in on the right hand side. They're happy to again pass the ball around the back over onto the right hand side to Griffiths. Cuts infield to McCarthy. McCarthy turns away from one and runs across the centre of the pitch. Here's Potts. Potts up and over halfway. Forest sitting off them at the moment, and Potts is still coming, and she plays a ball forward, and it's through to McGoughlin again, who's towards the 6-yard box. It comes across the face of the 6-yard box, and Hallam does well to dive out and dive on the loose ball. There were plenty arriving in a light blue shirt. But we've played an hour here. Forest 0, Sunderland 2. How long before Forest manager Elena Moulton makes her first substitution of the afternoon? Sunderland have it again inside the Forest half. Through ball though is intercepted by Bennett, who plays it back to Hallam, has to clear it first time up towards Higginbotham, who is just too short, and Lambert wins the header in the aerial battle. It goes to McGoughlin, who goes back to Potts. Ball forward, that's with Faragir. Back to Lambert inside the centre circle, over to Griffiths on the right hand side. Plenty of space in the centre of the park for Griffiths to run into. Plays it to Ramshaw. Ramshaw can't quite get the control she wants on it, and Hewitt swings a boot at it and gets it away. Forest still being pegged back into their own half here. Sunderland have a throw in midway inside the Forest half on the right. They have plenty of players forward. Forest have everybody back apart from Beth Tyson. As Sunderland on the right hand side come again, try and get the cross in, but it's been blocked by Walters and out for a throw in for the visitors. Just under half an hour to play then. As Sunderland take the throw in from a couple of yards from the Forest byline, battling for it, and they win the corner. Their fourth corner of the second half. They only had 4 in the first half, but already they've matched that tally within the first 16 minutes of the second. Forest again have everybody back inside the penalty area. So it's going to be right-footed, out swinging. And again, the wind just takes it completely and goes straight out of play. And Forest will have a goal kick. So nothing coming of that corner. 16.5 minutes have gone in this second half. If you are just tuning in, we are slightly behind everybody else. Play was suspended for about 10 minutes in the first half following a torrential hailstorm. So we are about 10 minutes behind everybody else. As Hallam takes the goal kick. It's a low goal kick which is intercepted midway inside the Forest half by Sunderland, and here they come again with space on this left hand side now as they switch the play. Here's McGoughlin. McGoughlin tries to give it to Kemp, manages to get it to Kemp, who takes the, well, it's a cross that almost looks as though it was a shot with the way the wind took it, but Hallam was equal to it and cashes it in 2 hands and then dives on the ball and stays there for a few seconds to make sure the danger has passed. Now walks to the edge of her area and clears it. That's up and over halfway, but headed forward by Kemp to McGoughlin. Back to Kemp inside her own half. Back to McGoughlin once more, who doesn't quite manage to get past Wilson, and Wilson manages to win the throw-in from her. Played 62 minutes. Forest still trailing by 2-0. They need a goal and they need it quickly. As it's thrown down the line by Wilson, and Forest still battling for it, but they lose the battle and concede the throw-in. So Sunderland regain possession. Long throw down the line, flicked on up and over halfway. Here's Edwards. Edwards goes back to Walters, who swings at it and doesn't get a clean contact. Play does continue, even though Brown and Faragir go together hard in the centre of the field. Both players up and okay. Here is Faragir to the right of centre inside the Forest half. Goes back into the centre circle. Ball now over on the left hand side inside the Forest half. Here's Kemp. Kemp goes back to Potts inside the Sunderland half. Potts does A nice turn to get away from Middleton and then loses the ball as she stumbles and Middleton takes it away from her, but she's been forced wide and only one in the box for Forest in the form of Beth Tyson. And two Sunderland defenders are able to get that ball away from Middleton, and now they can come on the right hand side with Griffiths after the players switched well by Lambert. Here's Griffiths with a long ball forward. It's taken a lucky bounce and Sunderland are in all alone here. Shot and goal, and that is Ramshaw in the 65th minute, and there was nothing they could do about that one. Goal for Sunderland Ladies scored in the 65th minute by number 7, Kira Ramshaw. Kira Ramshaw with the goal for Sunderland. It took a bounce off, the through ball came in and it took a bounce off, I believe it was Grace Walters, and because it took the bounce off the Forest player it looped high up into the air. None of the Sunderland players were offside. They were free on Hallam. They could have squared it, but Ramshaw went for the shot herself, and while Hallam got something on it, it wasn't enough to keep it out, and Sunderland now lead by 3-0. Here they come again midway inside the Forest half on the right hand side. They cut back into the middle of the field. Here's Lambert. Lambert tries a ball forward all the way on to that right hand side, which Barker is chasing rapidly and doesn't quite get there, but it does go out for a throw in for Forest rather than a goal kick, which means they are pegged back into their own third of the field. Hewitt with the ball. She leaves it for Walters to take with her longer throw in as Forest try and get distance on this and clear their lines. Walters gets the throw in, but it's headed down by Sunderland and then cleared away by Constantinu. So Sunderland do have possession, but they've been forced back to halfway. Here's Kemp. Kemp on the left hand side is allowed to run towards the edge of the Forest penalty area, gives it to McGoughlin, back into Kemp inside the penalty area. The ball spins away from her though, and Hewitt, who's come all the way across from left back to right back momentarily, is able to put the ball out for a corner. Sunderland's 5th of the second half and 9th of the afternoon as we near the midway point in this second half. 21 gone of the second half as the wind begins to pick up again. Sunderland have a player sprinting towards the edge of the area and they play the 1-2. Stays on side does Faragir, who is at the edge of the penalty area now, takes the shot and it's a good pad up in the air and then it's in at the back post, and Sunderland have their 4th, and it's Katie Barker in the 66th minute. Goal for Sunderland scored in the 67th minute by number 14, Katie Barker. Goal scored by Barker at the back post as Hallam could only just parry it up into the air. And at the back post, Barker was there to just play it in at the back post. And if Forest aren't careful here, this is going to turn into a nasty afternoon. 2 goals in quick succession again then, just as they were in the first half. And Sunderland now lead by 4-0. It's a bad afternoon for Forest and for Elena Moulton in her first game in charge of the Reds, as Sunderland make a substitution as Emily Hutchinson comes on to the field. Couldn't see who she is replacing though, as the dugouts are on my side of the field, and of course we don't have a 4th official. So Tyson gets the game restarted. We're now past the midway point in this second half, as here is Hutchinson immediately, gives it to Ramshaw. Ramshaw gets away from 2 Forest players and has the advantage as it gets to Galloway and back to Ramshaw again, and great save from Hallam, diving down low away to her left and parries it aside for the corner. A lovely move though from the visitors, who kind of deserved a 5th goal there. They do have to settle for their 10th corner of the afternoon, which is going to be taken right-footed, out swinging. The wind going against them though. It goes across the face of goal towards the back post and they can't deflect it goalwards. Forest players appealing that it went out, but play continues. Here's Potts against Middleton. Potts turns away from Middleton twice, gives it to Ramshaw. Ramshaw towards the edge of the box, and it's just too close to here Ashley Edwards, and Edwards can clear it away only midway inside the Forest half, though. Is still Sunderland come again at the edge of the Forest penalty area. Forest just cannot clear their lines at the moment. It goes back to Lambert on halfway. Here's Griffiths. Griffiths goes over to Barker on the right hand side. Cross in towards the back post. There's space here, but Hallam does well to come out, catch the ball and dive on it and avert the danger. We've got just over 20 minutes of normal time to play here at the end of this game. Sunderland now leading by 4-0. As the clearance from Hallam only finds a visiting head. Now here's Ramshaw. Plays a 1-2 in the centre of the park and gives it to Kemp on this left hand side. Kemp's got plenty of space here for Hutchinson, the substitute who's only just come onto the field. Wilson gets back well and gets a foot in, but it is a corner again for Sunderland. Their 12th of the afternoon. Just 20 minutes to play, as Forest again have everybody back. It's Amy Higginbotham who's the furthest forward for Forest at the moment, and she's on the edge of the area. As the corner comes in towards the back post, it goes for everybody and out for a goal kick as it curls past the far post. And Hallam will calmly take this goal kick. If you're just joining us, it's Forest 0, Sunderland 4. This FA Women's National League Northern Division, a game that was slightly delayed in the first half due to a hailstorm. As Hallam clears it with the goal kick straight out of play for a Sunderland throw-in. Let us know in the live chat where you're listening from and who you are supporting this afternoon. As the ball is played forward to Ramshaw, who goes back to Griffiths, then played forward back to Ramshaw again towards the edge of the area. Forest managed to get it away, only midway inside their own half though. As here's Lambert. Lambert goes back to Potts. Potts to Kemp. Kemp on this left hand side turns away from Higginbotham and goes back to Potts on halfway. Forward to Lambert again. Lambert with Tyson for company is brought down in the process, but just managed to find Barker, and Galloway's in the middle. It's just taken away from her. Ramshaw still pressuring Georgia Hewitt. Hewitt gets it clear, but only to about 30 yards, where the visitors regain possession again. Higginbotham this time gets it clear to the centre circle. It's back with Lambert though quickly from Potts. Over to Griffiths on the right hand side. Left-footed crossing is aimed towards Galloway, but Hallam is able to comfortably collect that one. So we have just 18 minutes to go. Hallam right-footed, clears it straight out of play. And Sunderland will have another throw-in, but not until Lambert is replaced. And Lambert is replaced by Georgia Gibson. And Sunderland will have the throw-in, which goes down the line, and they win the free kick after Galloway is deemed to have been fouled. And they streak forward once more to attempt to get a 5th goal from this game. There are 5 in the box and 2 on the edge of the box for Sunderland, as Hallam just directs her 3-man wall. Wilson, Edwards and Brown in the wall for Forest. As the free kick is taken in towards the back post. There's plenty in the 6-yard box, but it goes all the way through and out for another goal kick. Just inside 17 to play. Forest 0, Sunderland 4. As Hallam just walks the ball to the edge of her 6-yard box and walks back level with the goal line, striding forward and clears. Once again, straight out of play and a Sunderland throw-in. Thrown towards Ramshaw, who does well to get away from one, but then Constantinou gets a foot in and gives possession back for Forest. Tyson tries to get it to Middleton, but Potts is in there first. Here's Kemp. Kemp, left-footed ball forward, is headed up in the air by Walters, and it's only found Barker on that right-hand side. Barker cuts towards the byline, turns her back to goal. Hewitt harassing her. Does well though, Barker, to keep possession. The cross is cleared away though by Walters. At the second attempt, it's only as far as Griffiths, who gets back into the penalty area now. Cross comes in, blocked at source. Brown stabs a left boot at it, and it's out for another throw into Sunderland, who take it quickly looking for Ramshaw. Cleared away by Walters. Another Sunderland throw in on the left hand side. Here is Ramshaw towards the edge of the penalty area. Opportunity for a shot, and it hits the bar. The shot from the edge of the area from Georgia Gibson, who's only just come on as a substitute, struck the top of the bar on its way out for a goal kick. We have 15 to go, and Forest still trail by 4-0. As Hallam clears right-footed, it takes a couple of bounces and is then intercepted by Faraglia in the Forest half. Sunderland with bodies forward, but it's cleared away by Walters. And now substitutions are going to be made by Forest as Beth Tyson comes off, and she is replaced by Danielle Sanderson. And that is the only substitution that Forest make at the moment. And Sunderland come again 30 yards from goal. Here is Gibson. Gibson manages to find a teammate, and the ball comes into the penalty area, but it's cleared away by Bennett. Back to Gibson, who goes and finds Potts. Potts finds Hutchinson on the right hand side. Goes back to Kemp. Kemp inside to Faraglia. Potts, Sanderson applying the pressure now in what was Beth Tyson's role. Sunderland have it inside the centre circle, entering the Forest half. A nice 1-2 there, but taken away from them by Bennett, as Galloway plays a lofted ball on the right hand side for Barker to chase, but she was never going to catch that one. And it runs out for Hallam to take the goal kick. 13 to play, plus stoppages at the end of this second half, where Sunderland are leading Forest by 4-0. Hallam with the goal kick goes over to the far side. It's allowed to bounce and is controlled well by Forest. It's by Higginbotham, who's into the Sunderland half and is brought down and wins a free kick. Rare opportunity here for Forest in the Sunderland half, so not somewhere they're familiar with in this second half. But Forest do have the free kick and an opportunity to go forward. Bennett will take the free kick. It's only a yard or two inside the Sunderland half, and on the left edge of the centre circle, Bennett takes the free kick, driven in low, headed away at the edge of the penalty area. Constantinou battles for it and wins the throw-in for Forest after it took a deflection. So Forest with the throw-in, about level with the edge of the Sunderland penalty area. Into the corner, the cross comes in, cleared away. It's out for a Forest corner. The first of the second half, only third of the game. As Forest have 5 on the edge of the area. Constantinou thinks about going short to take the corner, but instead Wilson goes across. So Forest have 1 in the box and 6 on the edge of the area. As the corner comes in. Just as Forest make runs, and it comes in, it's towards the near post. It goes for everybody. It's bobbling around in the penalty area. Sunderland eventually get it away, and Walters has to sprint to keep that one in on the far left hand side. Manages to do so, plays it left footed down towards Higginbotham, but it's taken away from her, and Sunderland have an opportunity now as it's a straight foot race between Galloway and Hewitt. Hewitt gets there first, turns well away from Galloway, and now can sprint back up the pitch to clear the danger for Forest. Intercepted though by Gisborne, who just swings a right boot at it, and it goes all the way out for a Forest goal kick. Once again, we've got just 10 minutes of normal time to play here at the end of this second half. Still 4-0 to Sunderland, 2 batches of 2 goals in quick succession as Hallam clears it up towards halfway, but it's headed forward by Sunderland, and they can come once again. They've got 5 on 2 here as it's over to Barker on the right hand side. It's crossed in, it's a poor cross, but it still manages to find its way towards the back post, and it's just too far away from Kemp, who was arriving at the back post. My apologies, Hutchinson arriving at the back post. And Forest will have yet another goal kick as we near the end of normal time in this one. Inside the final 10 minutes, it's looking highly unlikely that Forest will get anything out of this game now, as third and final substitution is made by Sunderland as Erica Warren comes on, replacing Griffiths at that far side, I believe. As it's flicked on, the goal kick by Constantinu, played forward by Edwards, looking for Sanderson, but it's taken away from her, and McCarthy manages to find Warren, who is in place of Griffiths. Sunderland still happy to play this ball out from the back at 4-0. They've got no danger about Forest making a comeback in this one unless they have a complete lapse of concentration for the remainder of this game. The 8.5 minutes of normal time that we've got, plus stoppages. Ball forward looking for Ramshaw. She manages to gain possession but not control it cleanly, and 3 Forest players have to take it away from her. Find Middleton, but then she is muscled into the ball and it goes out for a throw-in, which comes down the line looking for Galloway. Galloway's too strong for Bennett, and Galloway manages to keep this one in and then gets past Walters as well. Constantinu comes across as the 3rd Forest player, and Galloway wants a free kick or a penalty, but referee says nothing doing, and Forest can clear it to midway inside their own half. Here's Hutchinson. Hutchinson goes square to Gibson. Gibson, long ball. That over to the right hand side, but Sunderland comes square in again. Here's Ramshaw. Ramshaw has it taken off her by Higginbotham, but it's found Hutchinson again, who takes the first time right-footed curling effort, but it's straight at Hallam from 20 yards, who can make the comfortable save. We have 7.5 minutes to go in this FA Women's National League Northern Division game, and it's out for another throw-in to Sunderland just inside their own half, which goes to Ramshaw down the line. It's now back to Warren as Walters swings a boot at it from defence, but it goes straight up into the air. She tries another attempt at it when it comes down, but only concedes the throw-in, which Sunderland will take quickly towards the edge of the area. And here they come again inside the Forest area. Constantinu has to get across quickly, deflected behind for yet another corner. Their 8th of the second half alone, Sunderland. As Faragir goes across to take it, it's going to be right-footed. She takes it short to Barker, back to Faragir, who's now got a better angle to swing a left-footed cross in, and it's headed over the bar by Walters, who didn't hear the shout from Hallam directly behind her. And it's another corner for Sunderland. This is their 13th of the game. Just 6.5 to play in this one, plus added time, which for the substitutes and the goals, there will be a few minutes as the corner comes in into the 6-yard box again. Hallam fumbles it again, and it's still bobbling around the 6-yard box. Middleton gets it clear, only to the corner of the penalty area though, as Edwards comes across to challenge Faragir, but she goes towards the edge of the penalty area. The pass across the edge of the area is controlled by Sunderland. Forest still haven't got this clear. Now here's Brown. Brown goes forward to Sanderson. Sanderson's got Higginbotham streaking away to her right hand side, but has it taken away from her, and Sunderland midway inside the Forest half left hand side. That pass is wayward and intercepted by Middleton, who can now use her pace to run up and over halfway on the right hand side, and she's only got one player to beat as well before she gets one on one. She's forced wide though, only one in the area. Good strong sliding challenge to prevent Middleton from getting the cross in, and it is deflected out for a Forest throw in. Inside the final 5 minutes of normal time here now, as the throw-in goes towards the edge of the area. Sunderland can't quite get this one away. Edwards though can't get the shot away as it's taken away from her just before she can pull the trigger. Here's Bennett. Bennett gives it infield to Higginbotham. Higginbotham though just under the challenge of two Sunderland midfielders, can't keep control of the ball. And it's the visitors who come away up and over halfway again. That pass is wayward, intercepted by Wilson, but she can only swing a left boot at it. And it goes out for a Sunderland throw-in. Craig says, crazy game. Middlesbrough Borough went 4-0 up, and it's now 2 quick-fire goals from Rosie Kivel, 4-2. Stoke coming out of nowhere to close the gap. I suspect that there might be too little too late for Stoke. Everyone else should be about 10 minutes ahead of us here at Eastwood. As here's Sunderland again with Faragir. Gives it to McCarthy and then over to Warren on the right hand side. Warren gives it infield to Ramshaw, who's strong enough to get away from Constantinou but not control it at the same time, and it's a long ball forward from Edwards which just trickles into the Sunderland penalty area and is collected by Cowling, who passes it first time out to the right hand side to Potts, who comes up to halfway, gives it to Faragir. Acres of space on the right hand side, and here's even Galloway streaking forward on the right. Here's Ramshaw again. Ramshaw with a shot, and it's gone under Hallam, and Ramshaw's got a fifth in the 87th minute. Goal for Sunderland in the 87th minute, scored by number 7, Kira Ramshaw. And Sunderland have a 5th goal. Hallam dived down away to her right hand side, but it just trickled under her, and Sunderland have their 5th. And you have to say it's been coming, and they have been deserving of it as well. They're clearly the better side of the two in this game, and they now have a 5th goal as Forest take the restart and lose possession on the left hand side, and the ball's come forward again, and it's good. It's Galloway against Bennett here, and Galloway has won it, and she skipped past Walters as well, and she plays it across the face of goal, but Hallam is equal to that one. Catches it. 2.5 of normal time to go as Hallam bowls it out underarm to Bennett midway inside the Forest half. She plays a right-footed ball forward towards Middleton, who has to stretch to control it, and she concedes the throw-in at the same time. And Sunderland will come back at Forest once more. So we're near 2 minutes to play in this one plus added time. Here's McCarthy. McCarthy goes out to Warren, played infield to Gibson. Gibson loses possession though, and Forest, thanks to Sanderson, can come away. Here's Higginbotham. Higginbotham ball forward looking for Brown on the left hand side. Brown has got there, but it's just been taken away from her by Warren at the last moment. Forest do have the throw in just about 5 yards from the corner flag on the left hand side, which Hewitt jogs over to take inside 90 seconds of normal time here at Eastwood. Forest trailing by 5-0. Hewitt just gathers the ball in her hand and then goes back to Edwards towards the corner of the penalty area. She cuts onto her right foot, but then has it taken away from her, and Sunderland have an opportunity again on the break. Here's Ramshaw. Ramshaw looking for a hat-trick. Through ball though instead, looking for Galloway on the right hand side. Walters is going to get there first and just shepherd the ball out for a goal kick, which Hallam will take. We've got a minute left of normal time at the end of the 90. As Hallam just collects the ball in two hands and then places it at the left corner of her 6-yard box as she looks out onto the field. The players all gathering on the left hand side as Forest look at it. It's high up into the air. Constantinou goes up to the header and flicks it on, but it's intercepted, the second attempt, by the visitors, who can come again on the left hand side. Plenty of options as Kemp struggles to keep that one in. Manages to do so though, gets it back to Hutchinson. Hutchinson is forced to go back to Potts. We've got 30 seconds of normal time to go. Here's Ramshaw. Ramshaw manages to find Gibson again. Gibson, opportunity on the right hand side, finds Barker. Barker towards the edge of the area, tries to play it infield to Warren, but Hewitt does well. Gets it clear only as far as Ramshaw, 25 yards out, but with her back to goal. She turns away from Constantinou, finds Gibson once again. Gibson has it taken away from her by Edwards, but Edwards can't stay with it. Gibson wins possession back and Sunderland go back into their own half. We've now played the 90 minutes. We are into added time at the end of this one as Ramshaw on a right foot just has it taken away from her by Constantinou. Wilson plays it up high into the air, controlled in the centre circle. Walters heads it forward. It's now with Faragir. Faragir cuts onto a right, but Walters gets a good strong challenge in, forces possession back onto halfway again. Here's Kemp, right hand side, as Hutchinson gets away from Wilson, and now Hutchinson's got an opportunity here. Here's Galloway. Galloway cuts onto a left and takes the shot, and Hallam has spilt that one as well, and it's in at the back post in added time. And Hallam's unhappy with herself about that one. And Sunderland have a 6th goal. I'm trying to get confirmation on exactly who it was who scored that goal. It was tapped in. It would have been going in anyway, but it was tapped in at the back post. And it is a second goal for Katie Barker. Goal for Sunderland in stoppage time at the end of the second half, scored by number 14, Katie Barker. And Sunderland have their 6th in the first minute of added time as Wilson plays it forward, and it's been flicked up into the air at halfway. Sunderland come again. Bennett though clears it way into the car park, and we will need a new ball to finish this game. A minute and a half of added time has been played. Kemp throws it towards the corner of the penalty area. Here's Ramshaw. Ramshaw gives it to Gibson, back to Kemp. Kemp goes to Potts. Potts forward to Ramshaw again. Midway inside the Forest half. Her back to goal though. Turns away from Constantinou. Gives it back to Potts. Potts goes to McKenty. Gibson then with the long ball forward onto the right hand side. Here's Warren. Opportunity in the middle again for Sunderland. Cleared away by Walters. As far as Edwards at the edge of the D. Edwards completely swings and misses at the clearance. It finds Higginbottom though eventually at the second attempt. And that is the end of the game, and it has finished here 6-0 to Sunderland. Goals from Ramshaw, Barker and McGoughlin, a brace each. And that is all that she wrote here. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. This has been Forest Ladies Live, where Sunderland have won by 6 goals to 0.